adversaries get shelved.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the Sonic Adventure Era Speed Running Marathon. My name is Stelman98, and I am going to be your commentator for this lovely run of Sonic's Any Percent in the little Sonic fan game known as Sonic Project 06. Who we got running for us today is the almighty Reverie, one of, if not the best person at this game. So we got quite a show ahead of us here. Rev, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Rev. I'm an 06 brain rot. I mean, that's about it. Anything 06 related, it's like a summoning circle. You mentioned P-06, you get me.
Alrighty. Well, I'm really looking forward to this run. This is going to be our first time showing off Sonic's Any Percent in a marathon. And just before we get started here, I do want to mention that Sonic Project 06, while looking very similar to Sonic 06, is not the same thing. This is a from-the-ground-up recreation in the 2019 Unity engine of Sonic 06 by Chaos X 2006 as the lead developer. Currently, we are in the Shadow Release version 1.6, which means we have the ability to play all of Sonic's stages and all of Shadow's stages. Sonic's Any Percent is just us going through all 10 of Sonic's stages in any order we choose, as you can see on Rev's... Oh, the splits are not on stream. My bad. But you will see a little bit of order variation compared to the list order, just because it allows for some more consistent runs. And yeah, so whenever we're ready, Rev, let's go ahead and get started.
All right, I do want to mention real quick, there's a really, really dumb trick in Wave Ocean that I'm going to attempt 3 times. If I don't get it within those 3 attempts, we're just going to run the stage normally. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Alrighty, so getting into this run, what Rev was mentioning is literally right out of the gate, we are immediately doing a skip here. You have a 33% chance to get this, and Rev gets it on the first try. The luck is in our favor today. So what's happening here is in Sonic Project 06, you're going to see the movement is vastly different than the original game. It's a lot closer to Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. And one of those things is that the fall speed in Sonic Project 06 is uncapped. And we can move so fast that we can clip right through the kill plane of the water and run along the bottom of the ocean over to the check to switch over to Tails. Now, we are actually controlling 2 characters at once at this moment, but if you're familiar with Sonic 06, you know about Sonic's gem abilities. We just hold the sky gem there. Sonic doesn't move, so he can't die. And we use a special trick called bomb bouncing with Tails to get straight to the load trigger for the Mach Speed section. Moving on into the Mach Speed section here, you're going to see this crazy trick called a roof launch. We use Mach Speed Sonic Speed and the slope of those roofs on top of the boardwalks in Wave Ocean to sail right over the level design. We're going to go for a second one here. Oh, one bonk, which is totally fine. Thankfully, Sonic Project 06 is a very forgiving speed game in that not only are the levels divided into sections, you can restart from the beginning of those sections. And in sections that have checkpoints, the checkpoints are very generous. So almost back already right to where we were.
I'm not going to go for it again. That one's really, really risky as normal Sonic.
So you might have noticed that Rev said normal Sonic. In the next Mach Speed section, we will be seeing a special new ability that is exclusive to Project 06 that Sonic 06 was going to have, but ended up not having in the final product. We're just going to do a couple light dashes here, the fastest form of movement with Sonic in a Mach Speed sections. Take this a big loop into this awesome automated sequence that Sonic 06 loves throwing you into from time to time. And there we go, a very nice Wave Ocean. So, we've already seen 2 different gameplay styles. We saw regular Sonic with access to his gem abilities and Mach Speed Sonic, but that doesn't end there.
Wrong. I forgot to mention
the stage after Dusty Desert. Oh, I totally practiced this. We, like I said, are going to be running these stages out of order here. So we're actually heading into Flame Core. So the thing that separates Sonic's Any Percent from Sonic No Major Glitches, which is a category that Reverie and I are going to be racing against tomorrow. Definitely be sure to check that out. is 3 big skips in 3 stages. They are so difficult to do that we created our own category for them, even though most of the stages, 7 out of the 10 stages, are exactly the same across both categories, but these skips are so crazy. You already saw the first one here in Wave Ocean, going underneath the water there. In Flame Core, we get to see a bit more of the Project 06 movement using the Legacy Jump Dash type. There are 3 customizable jump dashes in this game. We use the Legacy one because it functions like the Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog jump dash type, where it preserves our momentum. And since Sonic can bounce attack, we can use that to get to the ground very quickly. Our other trick exclusive to any percent here, Reverie is going to grab these speed shoes, grab this invincibility, swing around, use the purple gem, which gives us 3 extra jumps, and the sky gem clearing the invisible wall, landing on some invisible lava there, which doesn't damage us because we are invincible. We still got those speed shoes, which removes our airspeed cap, and we're going to use a little bit of white gemming.
I didn't have another white gem.
Close. So close. So as you can see in the bottom right there, if you're familiar at all with the original game, Sonic was able to use his gems infinitely due to a typo in the code. Chaos X went ahead and fixed that little exploit, and now the gems are very limited. So meter management is something that's very important in all of Sonic's runs, and actually all of the runs in Sonic P-06 other than Sonic's gemless category. Now Rev is going to try to back up this skip. We're just going to take... Again, we're very, very thankful that this is right at the beginning of Section 2. So we can do a quick restart and just get our bearings once again. Getting the second way to do that clip. That is called Tube Clip. It's actually nothing really fancy. The collision on the tube has a small gap in it. And it's very consistent where you can jump in order to get that clip.
It's not really a gap. It's more so that, like, the game doesn't really have any way to force you down. So it's just like, I don't know where to put you. You can just go through the tube. But now we're going to be running... Oh, that's the wrong stage. Now I'm going to be running the stages in order. I just wanted to put Flame Core second to get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what Rev did there is significantly harder than doing it the first way that they did it, but of course it's faster, and actually getting to the goal ring out of bounds with Tube Clip is much, much easier because you retain all that run speed you have trying to clip through the tube. In a Dusty Desert here, what I was alluding to earlier, we have the third gameplay type as Sonic here, is Sonic and the Princess. Essentially, think of this as a neutered version of Sonic, where we only have access to our jump dash, light dash, anti-grav dash, and the special fire shield that we get when we press RT that uses up some of our action gauge in the bottom right to stand on quicksand and can barrel through enemies. Interesting thing, contrary to the name, the anti-grav slide actually preserves momentum and obeys gravity. So if we're going down a slope, we're going to move a little bit faster. But we use the anti-grav slide to preserve those light dashes. Because light dashing with Sonic and the Princess, fastest form of movement. See, that's kind of a recurring thing here. But a very solid Dusty Desert, getting a 46, under 47 minutes in a real-time run is very, very good. Our next stage, as you can see, this game is quite kinetic. There's not a whole lot of downtime. We are heading into White Acropolis here. We're seeing our final of our 4 different gameplay types with Sonic, because Sonic Team just loved shoehorning Sonic into a lot of different gameplay styles.
That they only use twice for some reason.
Yeah, back-to-back even. But this is Snowboard Sonic. So Snowboard Sonic, think of Sonic from Sonic Adventure 2 with just a little bit better handling, and the addition of this new kick move, kind of like if Sonic was on a skateboard. Chaos added this because the White Acropolis and Crisis City terrain, the 2 sections in which the snowboard is used, can be very bumpy and you can run into stuff. That kick actually brings you up to full speed, and if you are not in the kick animation, you are actually losing speed constantly. So basically the fastest way to go through that section is to just kick as much as possible. And because these downhill slopes, because of how they are sloped, jumping actually allows us to maintain our airspeed and really quickly get down and not even worry about the snowball behind us. And that was Section 1. Section 2 is going to be very, very quickly. What Rev is going to do is pull out the blue gem, which gives us a speed burst, and defeat these enemies to level it up to level 3 to get the biggest speed burst possible. And just like the roof launches, use the slope of that rock with the blue gem speed to hug the invisible wall, and then use the sky gem to get an extra, I guess kind of you can think of it as a double jump, to get over that invisible wall and straight to the end of White Acropolis. I'm sorry to say, but we are not going to be seeing very much of Tails and Knuckles in this speed run.
We actually do not see Knuckles at all. I'm sorry, Shovel
Yeah,
Claws.
that's true. Yeah, we saw plenty of Sonic in the SADX race that happened a couple runs ago. But here we are in Crisis City, our second and final snowboard section here. Fun fact, the snowboard is actually sped up here because the top speed of the snowboard is sped up because this is much longer. Like, there's not as many turns, and it's a lot more stretched out level design than White Acropolis is. So we get to go just a little bit faster. Again, kicking is the fastest form of movement, and there's not very many slopes that are angled enough for us to take advantage of kind of bunny hopping down. So we're just going to try to stay on the ground as much as possible and do that kick motion all the way until we get to these dash panels, launching us right into Section 2 of Crisis City.
That was a really clean Section 1. Sub 50,
yeah, it was.
yeah.
49, very good. Reverie is very, very good at Crisis City in particular, so you guys are in for a real treat here. No pressure.
Yeah, no, you can't do this to me.
Section 2 is a fantastic showcase of Sonic's movement with the blue gem. We are going to see the purple gem again, just like we did in Flame Core, but we are also going to be seeing more of the white gem, which has a funny little quirk in this game. So, Chaos for Sonic and Shadow decided to add this little ability called the homing attack refresh. What that is basically if you do Sonic or Shadow's air action after doing a jump dash, it refreshes your ability to do another jump dash. The white gem enhances this even more by every time Sonic uses an air action, we can do another jump dash as long as we have enough action gauge to do so, which allows us to clear that massive gap in Crisis City and head all the way into Section 3. This is a very good Crisis City time, 1:42, I think, on Section 2. Section 3, again, showcasing some new mechanics with, of course, Badnik bouncing, returning from other Sonic games, because for some reason, Sonic 06, you couldn't jump into enemies, which has been, I guess, a bit redeemed here with the ability to have one of the best Badnik bounces in the series. Now, as you can see there is this unused gem you get by S-ranking all of Sonic's stages. It is the Rainbow Gem and allows us to transform into Super Sonic. Super Sonic, you're only going to be seeing in the Mach Speed sections because he massively, massively speeds them up. His top speed is kind of ridiculous in the Mach Speed sections, but unfortunately, he is only useful in said Mach Speed sections because he locks us out of our ability to use any of the other gems, which is super unfortunate because it'd be really cool if we could switch to the other gems as Super Sonic, but that is not the case. But I am still very happy we get to showcase him.
Hold up. Is this a 247?
Ooh, it could be. 46. And very nice. Beautiful Crisis City.
That's IL record.
Hey, let's go. In a marathon.
Holy shit.
Oh, if I could Stelmo Pog, I would right now, but you guys can't see my face. Absolutely incredible.
Fuck.
Chaos adding that little red star there to
stage.
show when you get a PB. Very, very nice. Into Flame Core again. Little bit of a misclick there.
Brain rot.
We're going to head into Radical Train. This Radical Train can also be called Radical Pain because kind of mirroring the original game's speed run. This is notorious for killing runs with both Sonic and Shadow. With Sonic, there are some very tight jumps, including this crane skip that Reverie is going to attempt here. Gets it easily. I expect nothing less from the P-06 master. Heading over using the blue gem and this technique called the double input glitch to get a higher jump. There's not a lot of time to explain the specifics behind it, but essentially if Rev presses A and X at the exact same time, or if you're on PlayStation, you can press, I believe it's square and X. At the exact same time, you have about a 3-frame window to do it. You can get a much higher jump with Sonic and Shadow, and in fact, most of the characters in the game. Most useful for our titular hedgehogs, though. Moving on into the Mach Speed section for Radical Train here, a little bit more eventful than Crisis City, as it is not a straight line. We're going to be just manipulating some of the light dashes there to get insane speed with Super Sonic, skip a bunch of that platforming, and now we are chasing the train, which Eggman has installed some grade A nitrous into this thing, being able to outrun a Lightning Bolt Super Sonic here. I know a lot of you guys were probably around for the Sonic Adventure DX runs. Chaos decided to re-add the little detail from the last story where the faster Supersonic moves, the more he transforms into a lightning bolt, and that's what that blue aura you see around him is. Very, very cool little detail. Moving on to our second and final princess stage, Tropical Jungle. Tropical Jungle, at least for me, is a stage where I unlearn stuff all the time and have to reteach myself because there's some very particular timings, especially if you happen to mess up a timing and have to take a different route. Because what you're going to see here are all these different vines in the stage. These vines, when they glow, is when you're able to launch off them and continue on the path. But they all seem to have, I'm not entirely sure if this is true, but it feels like it, slightly different timings from each other. So usually it's muscle memory, but sometimes those vines can get you and can lead to a couple resets. But Rev showing off.
I think the main thing is that the timing is based on like the apex of the swing and not necessarily the glow of the bulb. Is kind of what I've noticed.
Yeah, and they all swing at slightly different speeds. Unfortunately, just because they're different lengths. Yeah, depending on the level design. Coming up here, hitting this checkpoint for safety, we're going to do a light dash, hit those dash panels, use the speed of those dash panels, and go to the right side of the log instead of the left. Go over this giant kill plane that's over the top of this section, and that is called log skip, bringing us straight into section 2. Using a bit of the fire shields property here to allow us to run on water here. We want to use some anti-grav dashes, light dash, anti-grav dash, to completely bypass most of the platforming in this section. Defeat the red enemy there, which destroys all the rest, opens that cage, and finishes off Tropical Jungle. Wowza, this run is going super duper awesome.
It's not over yet. We got the 2 gargantuan stages.
Yeah. Sonic Project 06 is one of those games where when something can and might go wrong, when it rains, it pours. But like I mentioned at the beginning, the checkpoint system is very, very forgiving in this game. So we can get right back to where we were, even if a slight mess up happens. But it doesn't look like that's going to be happening as we're in the groove now. Heading through Kingdom Valley Section 1, one of, in my personal opinion, best designed sections in any Sonic game. There's tons of multiple pathways, tons of ways you can use the high route to just go extremely quickly, using those physics to our advantage, flying right through Section 1 and switching over to Silver the Hedgehog. While Silver the Hedgehog stages are not featured, he is one of the original 3 characters to show up in Project 06 because Kingdom Valley was a stage in the first demo. You can see his speed has been greatly enhanced, and because Silver doesn't have his own story, he has all of his upgrades available to him, including the teleport dash, which does not have a set distance anymore. You can teleport for as long as you have action gauge. So we use a bit of psychokinesis to manipulate some boxes and do a really quick teleport dash all the way over to where we switch to Sonic.
That was scary.
That is an incredibly scary trick Rev just tried to accomplish there. But thankfully, that springs right there. Easy to homing attack. And boom, into Section 3. But the craziness doesn't end as Rev does a really, really fast high jump. Again, a very, very small window before that dash panel sends you into automation. Going over the top of that tower and straight onto this grind rail section. Or I guess grind wind? I don't know how you grind on wind, but, I'm not Sonic the Hedgehog, so...
He's built different.
It's a very solid wind, I guess. All right, coming up here is one of the other, I wouldn't say infamous tricks really anymore, but it can be a bit of a beginner's trap because the debris can get in your way. This is Castle Skip. So we just jump dash into those castles to destroy them, giving us platforms, using the blue gem and some high jumps to easily clear that section, skipping some automation, and just some beautiful movement from Rev all the way through Section 3 onto the final grind rail. This is what I call the thinking grind rail, where you're looking at your timer and you're like, oh my goodness, how much have I messed this up? How well am I doing? As we hop into this final section, transform into Supersonic as quickly as possible. And when Supersonic transforms, I forgot to mention this, there is this damaging blast that surrounds him, so we use that damaging blast to destroy all of those enemies, getting this really sick cutscene with Silver there protecting us, even though we're Supersonic, but, we appreciate that he's trying. An A for effort, I'd say. Into our final Mach Speed section with Supersonic here, there's actually not a lot of automation skips other than that first little one right there. We do just to skip a wall jumping section. Again, Supersonic is just so insanely fast. We want to be moving forward as much and as quickly as possible. As I mentioned before, light dashing is the fastest way to move in these mock speed sections. And for every frame of the game you are not light dashing, you're actually losing speed. So we want to be light dashing as much as possible. The light dash actually, trigger is very forgiving. Like, you can be all the way on one side of the road and be able to trigger it all the way from the other side. And it doesn't really slow you down and keeps Sonic moving forward, which is very, very nice. Getting a 255. Sub 3 Kingdom Valley is kind of a rite of passage in Project 06 speedrunning. And Rev getting it easily there with 5 seconds to spare. Finishing off our main stages in Sonic Project 06 is Aquatic Base, one of my personal favorite stages to run. It's a very linear stage, not a lot of multiple pathways or anything, so classic Sonic fans, I'm sorry. This is not Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but we are just going to move along here. One other thing with the blue gem, you might see Rev use the blue gem and then spin kick. Spin kicking actually preserves all momentum from any source. And because the blue gem uses a lot of our action gauge down there, it actually starts to refill while we're spin kicking, so we can keep that blue gem speed, even though we're not using the blue gem. First of the two somewhat scary tricks in Aquatic Base here is ball skip. You have to use the purple gem and the blue gem to hop on these very, very small platforms, and Rev using the white gem strat to just go straight in the Tails' section, making it look easy. I assure you it is not. But we are going to be using Tails here. One quirk that I'll explain more when we get to Tails' Wave Ocean is that if you feather the A button, you can actually fly for a lot further and a lot longer with Tails. Chaos went ahead and added the action gauge, kind of used as a flight meter for Tails to give us an accurate representation of how much flight we have left. In addition, in a move for the air tail swipe, which you're going to be seeing right here for Rev to hit that switch, it's kind of like a spin jump, but you can activate it anytime you're in flight with Tails, and we're going to be using that to take advantage of a trick you saw in Wave Ocean, but I'll be explaining when we get to Tails' feature-length stage here. Ooh, missing one of those magnetic pulls to destroy those enemies, but a quick turnaround just gets us straight into Section 2. Moving on to Section 2, looking very similar at the beginning to Section 1. Getting the strike there, destroying all those enemies in one fell swoop with the spin dash. Again, another automation skip using the blue gem and some double homing attacks. So I explained earlier that you press A and X on the ground. You can do what's called a high jump, which you see right here in the final of the any % exclusive tricks. This is called Knuckles Skip, 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 because there's actually 3 ways, or a ball skip, 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 my apologies, because there are actually, a little scary there. Trying to avoid a kill plane as much as possible using that purple gem, and booyah, we made it through. Actually, clipping through the top of that door is as easy as it looks because there is just no collision there for some reason. I think it was just a bit of an oversight. A lot of the retail Aquatic Base collision looks like that, where you can just jump through the doors, but I think Chaos may have missed the correction on that one in particular, which allows us to skip Knuckles yet again. So a Knuckles-less run, showing off just the craziness that any percent invites with all these tricks. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. This is a very, very good.
This is mid-22 pace.
Yeah, this is a really, really good any percent run. Fantastic showcase. That is why Rev has the faux sweep. Just missing one category, having
that
world record.
That hasn't had a run in over a year. It doesn't count.
You know, but if you gotta say a sweep, I mean, it's gotta be every category. That's what it means.
Do you hear this guy?
Anyway, kind of the epilogue to our run here. We do, just because we can't get enough of Sonic Project 06, we did include the extra stages in our speed run here. So this is Tails' Wave Ocean, aka the contemplation stage, where you kind of see what what you did good, what you did bad in the run. And here we are featuring Tails' bomb bouncing. This is a bit of an oversight. So I mentioned that Tails can do an air tail swipe earlier. That actually gives us just a little bit of height every single time we do it when we bounce off of something. And it just so happens that when Tails is completely out of flight meter and he's tired in the air just like that, you can actually throw dummy ring bombs, and they have the just the right speed rate to where you can, if you time it right, do a tail swipe off of Tails' dummy ring bomb, and you can do that infinitely as long as you have the rhythm right, which is really, really cool. We are not going to be seeing it anymore because it's actually slower here. Tails, unfortunately, doesn't move that quickly horizontally. But that trick found by Vertex is the pretty much only way that Orca skip you saw at the very beginning of the run is even IL, individual level, viable. Because the way we would have to do it otherwise would be terrible. Absolutely terrible.
That's
Finishing off the
time.
run there.
I forgot to say it, but that's time.
Now, 22-25, an absolutely incredible run. We do time loadless, just because this is a PC game and everyone has different load times. But it looks like for the real time there, probably, what would you say? You lose like 30 seconds?
I can compare to real time. Real time was a 22:55, so.
22:55 there. Getting a sub 23 at the first showcase in the marathon is absolutely insane. Fantastic
Dude,
job, Rev.
If it wasn't for Wave Ocean and Flame Core, this might have been like a mid 21.
Yeah.
Record for reference, record is a 21:01. So
yeah, very good run. I'll say
that was very stressful, but yeah.
That's why Rev is the master at Sonic P-06. Be sure to check out. This is not the only time you're going to be seeing Project 06 in this marathon. Rev and I have a speedrunning battle. I guess I should mention that I am the runner-up in Sonic Project 06 to Rev. So we're going to be doing the co-main event where we're going to have our rival battle in Sonic No Major Glitches, which is very similar to this run. If you enjoyed that stuff, highly recommend checking that run out. And then finally, on Sunday, we are going to be showing off Shadows category, where Rev is going to be commentating, and I'm going to be running the game instead. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely give Project 06 a shot. It's absolutely free. Just go to YouTube, type in Chaos X Project 06, and you can find the download of his most recent video. Thank you so much, SAESR, for having us do this run. And Rev, you got anything final to say?
Please run this game. It's cool. If you have any questions, like DM me, join the 06 server. I'm always excited to see new people try this game.
No, you're looking at the Project 06 speedrunning community right now.
All of us right here.
There's a couple other people that are starting to get into the game, but yeah, you can ask either Rev or I. We have been running this game for quite a while, so we know a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed the run, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Take it away.